Well, I've discovered an issue with these handlebars off the mini bike. This is the, in case you hadn't guessed, this is the twist control, throttle control. Now, it's a ruler. If I put that in there, down to the end, that has a depth of about 145, just to round it up, millimeters. Problem with that is the ends of the handlebars before it starts to curve up. These things are hard to handle when you line that up on the end, and you see here I've put a bit of tape there. That's where it starts bending. See that? It's starting to move away from the ruler. As you can see, that's a little under 120 millimeters, meaning this is too short. And once you put that on there to the right depth, it starts to bind up. So it's, you can see that's not fully on. That's about as far as I can go before it starts to bind. You can even see there on camera, it's starting to skew sideways a little bit, and it's nowhere near the end. So what I have to do is make that longer. Now, on the other side, obviously it's the same, but I've made up this little, cut this little sleeve out of another piece of what used to be the bike, which I've cut off and no longer using. So it's the same size. So I've cut that, and I've got a piece, this piece of stock. It's just a round tube. It fits inside, as you can see. That's just sliding nicely on it to line it up perfectly, so that I can now tack that in place. Then I can pull this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll just tack them in. I'll have to clean that chrome off first. Won't be able to weld through that successfully. And see what happens. Well, there we go. Tacked on. And I had to be really careful when I was doing that, because I wanted to tack the two together and make them strong enough to hold, but not too much that it was going to weld the tube to the inside. Because, so they're both tacked. Now I'll go ahead and, now that the tube's out, the guide tube's out, or mandrel if you want, I'm going to go ahead and weld them up, and that should give me the penetration. No danger of hitting anything inside. That's irrelevant if it builds up inside. So I'm going to go ahead and weld them up. Then I'll have to grind them all back. Okay, welded, ground and sanded. So it's got a bit of a smooth finish to it. But the bottom line is I'm not really worried about how this looks, because it's going to be covered anyway. And I put the throttle back on, and as you can see, it's pretty close to the edge of the tape line there. Not that you can see the edge of the tape line, but you get the idea. And I'll put a bit of tension on it. There's a little bit of binding there, but once I put a bit of grease in there, that's going to be fine. So that's one job with the handlebars down. Now I've got to finish off these welds. I had to cut here, and yeah, I actually did put an insert in there. I didn't worry about it on the ends because, well, as I said, they're going to be covered anyway, so there's a bit of structure in there. But these ones here, I had to change the angle. These were, from a bird's eye, these were pointed about there, so I just swung them out a bit to make it a bit more, well, aesthetically pleasing. So that's that job done. I'll get on with it now. Discovered that now that I've welded this piece on the end, it's not exactly straight. Let's see if I can show you what I mean there. See that in the middle? Yeah. There we go. A bit of light behind it. What's this? There we go. We've got a big gap there. That shouldn't be like that. That should be dead straight. So there's too much on this top edge here, on this end. So I'm going to have to cut that down. And there's a couple of other spots all the way around where it hasn't been ground properly. There's one right there. Take it back a bit. There's a high spot there. Now I could either cut this off, realign it, which will be a bit of a pain, or I can just file it, which that's what I'm going to do. First thing we need to do, coat of paint, black paint, just a light coat. And in bodywork terms, that's called a guide coat. You'll discover why in just a second. At the time I took the paint to dry, I actually just changed my mind and decided I am going to cut that end off. I actually already have, and I'm going to use a different tactic to get it a bit straighter when I weld a new piece on there. But I'll still demonstrate what I was talking about on this end. So you've painted it black, take a file, smooth file, rough file, whatever, and along and just scratch it. And slowly you'll see there's a low point there, but there's a high point there. It's taking the paint off, but it's biting into the metal a bit more. So I can come out a bit closer. Yeah, see just here, and just there's a low spot. But this is all high. Now this side doesn't matter. This is the side that's going to just have a grip on it. The throttle's on the other side. But as I said, and you can see, between there and there, that's all low. Because it's hitting there and hitting there, but all this is still black. That means, well, it's not straight. Basically, the idea behind this is you just keep going around, bit by bit, until you get all the high spots out. See, again, there's a high spot there, there's a high spot there. That is the original metal, so that means there's low there, but it's still a tiny bit high there. So I need to get rid of that weld. That's looking better. It's still low there, but I don't care. As I said, on this side, it's not an issue. Turn around a bit. Go again. And you can see, that's the weld there. And you can see that up to there, it's taken off. Beyond there, it's a way low spot. Just for giggles, I'm going to flip that 180 degrees, so that's on the bottom. That's right down there. Tighten that up. Now I'll guarantee you, this is low, this is high. See what I mean? Put some light on it. That give you a better idea? So there's paint all still here. There's not much there. And there's the weld. So it was slightly offline when I welded it. That's not what I want, so I'm going to have to use, I can't use the tube in the middle. I'm going to have to use something on the outside, maybe clamp them to a bit of angle or something like that. But that gives you an idea of how to file. You just literally file it and try to keep it as straight in your strokes along. And that, see that there, that's almost all gone. That's almost all straight there. So we'll rotate it just a little bit. Try a bit more. And you just keep rotating till you get all the way around and all the black paint's gone. Yeah, I've gone right around, and yes, there's still black paint on it, like around here, but that's of no consequence. Let's turn that off, see if it makes a difference. There we go. The important part is, there is the same as here. In between there, it doesn't matter. As long as it's not high, it doesn't matter. And I'm pretty sure none of it is. Nope. No, not really. Can't see anything. Well, I wish I could have done the other side as well as I did this side. Well, I'll weld a new piece on that and we'll get to that later. Something I made up, threw together some time ago. I forget what for, but basically it's a piece of ankle with two pieces of ankle welded underneath. So it's kind of solid. So you can put round stuff in there, clamp it down to the bench, and it's not going to fold over on you because it's got stoppers on each side. So I'm going to take the handlebars, pop them in there like that. Clamp it in. Now this is the piece I'm going to use to replace the piece I cut off. I've shaved the chrome off it, and I'm just going to have to cut it off where I need it, when I need it. So that goes in there. I'm going to put it at the same orientation as the handlebars, so that way I can turn them both the same amount. Clamp that down. Now before I go any further, I'm going to put that in there. Straight edge, ruler, whatever. Put that. Damn, it's not going to go in there. Too long, I'll have to get my short one. You know what? That's as straight an edge as you get. Pop that in there. That's actually a little bit high there, which I can actually see. So I'm just going to try and manoeuvre that a little bit. Maybe move the clamp in a bit more. That's pretty good. I'm going to tack that. Then we'll rotate it 90 degrees. Well, I'm going to tack it there and there. So rotating it 90 degrees will give me another point to tack. Earth clamp on. Tack number one. tack number 2. Okay, let's rotate it and see if I can get a third tack on it somewhere around the back. Dang it. No, that's not straight, see? Let's try this again. Aha. So it turns out it wasn't straight. There was a nice big burr on the back edge here, so it wasn't sitting down properly. So let's try this again. Around the back there. Let's see how that looks now. So clearly I'm not going to be able to get it dead straight because there's a gap through there, you know. Lay the torch down there. See that gap there? And if I go around here, there's a gap there. There. But if I come around here, don't look at the train for a sec. That's high in the middle. So clearly, I'm not going to be able to get it dead straight just by welding. So I'm just going to go ahead and weld that up, and then I'll use the file technique to get it dead straight, or as straight as it needs to be for the throttle to work. Well, all welded, ground. Now I ground it hollow, meaning I ground it low. You can probably see it's kind of low there. Maybe you can't. Not without some light behind it. Anyway, take my word for it, it's low around here. Because I wanted to give myself the best chance I could. So, we'll put this back on here. Just nip up these bolts a bit. Just by hand. Now, cable attached, spring attached. Let's see what happens. Ha ha! Awesome! That's got that sorted.